I'm Lloyd Holiday, and this is the Cost of a Thing podcast. Thanks for listening in today. So what happened to that great standard of living that we used to enjoy here in America in the 1960s and even into the 1970s? Well, that's what the Cost of a Thing podcast is all about, and that's what I'm going to be talking about here. Okay, today I want to do a podcast on the coronavirus. It's being hyped up really big in the press, and I think they're going overboard as usual. A lot of propaganda there, trying to get you to come back and watch the news to see what's happening, how many people are being killed by this thing. And really, I think they're basically going for ratings. They want to get bigger ratings, and they think if they hype this thing up, then they're going to get people to tune in and watch the misery, and they can report it. But what I'm really going to talk about today is what's really killing Americans and people in the world. I'm going to talk about the United States because that's where I am. It's not these strange viruses. That's not what kills Americans. And I want to put some perspective on the coronavirus and just show how few people are usually killed by these strange viruses that come in. And even with all the hype the press gives out on it, very few people end up dying in the scheme of things. And before I get into that, what's actually killing Americans, quickly let's go down the list of previous press hysteria and panic in the past over these strange diseases that once in a while pop up. We had the Junta virus. That was a big news story down in the southwest USA. It didn't kill very many people, but they just pumped it up. We thought we all were going to get the Junta virus by the way they talked. Then there was Ebola. The Ebola virus, that was going to spread and kill everybody. It was some kind of bacteria, I guess. Then there was SARS. I don't know, that was 15 or 20 years ago. It was another thing like the coronavirus. I don't know how many people that killed, but not very many. Certainly not in the United States. And there was West Nile virus. West Nile, that was supposed to start killing everybody. Mosquitoes were carrying it. Didn't kill very many people. Hardly any. Then there was the anthrax thing. Remember that? Everybody was panicking. They were going to get the antibiotics in case they caught anthrax from some terrorist or whatever. And, they go on. And there was Lyme disease. Lyme disease is going to kill everybody. The ticks are killing everybody. So this is a common thing for the press to pick up on this kind of thing and really try to do a Chicken Little type situation. The sky is falling and everybody better, let's clean. They'll have people cleaning out the stores. The country's going to shut down and, they'll create a complete panic out of something like this. Probably this coronavirus, in my opinion, is going to wind up like all these other diseases that I just talked about, and it won't amount to much. So let's look at the United States and what people really die from. And it's not the coronavirus, and it's probably not going to be the coronavirus. There's the list right up there. You can see about 2.5 million people die every year in the United States out of our about 325 million population. And out of that 2.5 million, about 2 million or so die of these 10 or 12 things that I've got on this list right here. It's not usually a bunch of infectious diseases. As you can see there, it's the common things that we see all the time. We see our relatives dying of these things. We see, I don't know anybody in my family that died of some strange virus or even the flu. I don't know anybody in my family that died of the flu that I remember. So let's go down the list here. And okay, first one, heart disease. Probably everybody knows somebody that died of heart disease, had a heart attack or what they call sudden cardiac death, where your heart just goes into a strange arrhythmia and other things. Okay, about that kills us, as you can see on the list, about 635,000 Americans every year. And before I go on to the second thing on the list, let me just say this. A lot of these things that people die of, they die prematurely. They don't live to their normal age. It's because of lifestyle. They smoke. A lot of people smoke. 500,000 of the 2.5 million deaths per year in the United States are directly related to smoking. So 20% of the deaths related to smoking alone. Then there's heavy drinking, there's poor diet. People take illicit drugs and even other drugs, prescription drugs. A lot of those kill a lot of people and contribute to the things on this list. So their own doing kills a lot of people prematurely. Okay, second thing on the list is cancer. That kills about 600,000 people a year, almost as many as heart disease kills. And a lot of that, of course, is from smoking. Probably half of those deaths are from smoking. Here's the statistic on lung cancer. There's about 160,000 deaths from lung cancer every year. That's the largest cancer killer. 9 out of 10 of those deaths occurred in people who smoke. Okay, I'm going to go down the list here pretty quickly. You can see lung disease, that's like emphysema and things like that. Again, probably from smoking mostly. Then there's strokes. That's 142,000 deaths every year. That can be caused by diet and lack of exercise, being overweight, smoking. So a lot of these things are caused by the person themselves, indirectly at least. Then you got Alzheimer's, that's 116,000 deaths. Diabetes, 80,000 there. The flu, okay, here's where the coronavirus would fit in. There's 51,000 deaths a year from the flu and pneumonia. Well, that's where the coronavirus is going to fit in there. Hey, who knows? Maybe there'll be less people die of the flu this year, and the coronavirus will fit in there and fill it in, and there'll be about the same amount of deaths this year from that. And usually that's old people, babies who don't really have a good immune system yet. But my thinking is that's what it'll amount to. Okay, you got kidney disease, 50,000 deaths. Suicide, 45,000. People who are not happy, people who are depressed, usually. And I don't know, a lot of times I think maybe the drugs that they give them are egging them on. I think this suicide rate has been rising by quite a bit. I think it rose by 40-50% in the last 20 years. And it's probably the drugs, probably these drugs you see advertised right on TV there to try to stop depression that are giving these people the idea to kill themselves. Okay, and just quickly to finish up there, you see sepsis. That's like a blood infection that gets out of control. It's about 40,000 from that die. And then liver disease, about 40,000. That could be from drinking or drug taking or just poor diet and things like that. And then the last one there is deaths at birth of babies. Don't like to see that one, or any of these for that matter. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap this up, and I just wanted to point out the fact that the press is always hysterical, and they always try to play Chicken Little with us and get us to watch the news. But to put the coronavirus and a few thousand deaths that have happened in the world in perspective, and just a few in the United States so far, 2 million deaths of the 2.5 million that occur every year in the United States happen from these dozen or so reasons that I listed here. And I doubt that coronavirus is going to change that very much, if at all. And furthermore, when the stock market crashed the other day from its complete bubble number of, was that 29,000, this Dow number, and it crashed down to like 25,000, over this coronavirus, is completely ridiculous. Why doesn't it crash from the 1.5 million deaths from heart disease and cancer that occur every year? Most of those are premature deaths, people that could have lived another 15 or 20 years at least if they would have not gotten that disease. And a lot of times, like I said, it's from smoking, diet, lifestyle, other choices like that. Why didn't the stock market crash from that? And also, why doesn't the mainstream media talk about any of these major diseases that are really killing hundreds of thousands of people every year here in the United States and around the world? I hear very little attempt by them to bring these diseases forward and the real root causes of these diseases forward so that people can avoid dying prematurely from them. Thank you for listening in today, and until next time, this is Lloyd Holiday signing off.